What's up, everybody? It is a Blue Drake, and I'm actually really excited that after many months, I finally get an opportunity to show you this project, because this is probably one of the most technically impressive projects I have been able to get my hands on this year. This is really impressive. Welcome to Starbase. And if you don't know what Starbase is, the quickest way to sum up this game is this is Star Citizen Space Engineers. That's basically it. This is Star Citizen Space Engineers, and everything that goes along with that statement is what this game is. This is a massively multiplayer game where you have ships that you can build and engineer piece by piece with your friends. And unlike other games, which are probably a little bit more sandboxy, this game has a single continuous server with a single unbroken economy. Meaning that you can buy and sell ships, you can mine, you can make money, you can engage in combat. This is kind of like Privateer Star Citizen Space Engineers, and I was bracing myself to be disappointed. But now that I've actually been able to play this game for about 10 hours, I have to say I am thoroughly impressed. I'm still wrapping my head around how they are physically capable of even accomplishing what they've obviously been able to accomplish with this alpha. This is probably going to be one of the most technically impressive alphas this year. I think there's going to be a lot of buzz about this game in the coming months. But with that said, I do want to get into the specifics of Starbase, because this isn't all rainbows and sunshine. It is still an alpha. There are still a lot of things that need to be added, that need to be changed, fixed, a lot of different elements to the game that are still very much a work in progress. And it shows. The game is by no means perfect, but for an alpha, it has a significant amount of potential, which I know a lot of people are really getting frustrated with hearing that word nowadays, and I'm right there with you. I definitely am tired of games that have potential. I want to see games just be good. I don't want them to, have the potential to be good. But I think that Star Citizen really has something here, and I think that they are actually very close to being a very good game. For something like this, as early in development as it is, I think if we wait around and watch what they do, we could have something really fantastic on our hands very soon. So let's just kind of talk about a couple of basic things. So first off, this is a giant station that you can walk entirely around on. I could walk from this docking bay all the way to that shipyard, which is on the other side of the station, seamlessly. It would take me a long time, but you can absolutely do it. And as you see, there's actually another station over there. There's another station over there. There's a whole cluster of stations that are actually orbiting this gas giant. And they all have just as much detail and density as this station has. And there is hundreds of players on these stations that are trading, buying, accepting missions, forming communities, forming clans. It is definitely a strong, this is a strong foundation for what I think will probably be a very strong community-based game. Probably something very similar to like Eve, but with Space Engineers. Now, I do want to get a couple of misconceptions out of the way, because there are a few very critical, very fundamental things about Starbase that separates it from other games. Not necessarily in a good way, not necessarily in a bad way, but just separates it. First things first, this is a massively multiplayer game. This game does not have single-player modes. This game does not have dedicated servers. This game does not have instant action or anything like that. At least not yet. I'm not sure if it is ever going to be added into the game. But as of right now, the only way to play the game is to log into the single, continuous, massively multiplayer universe, which, while very cool, comes with a few caveats. First off, my experience with this game so far is that it is very grindy. In fact, I'll go over here and I'll show you the first ship that I was able to purchase, which I will spawn at this shipyard, which again, the shipyard mechanics in this game are very elegant, and I actually really like this mechanic. There's a lot of mechanics and there's a lot of design choices that have gone into this game that I appreciate significantly, that I think are done very well, that are very smart choices. But this tiny little ship, as you can see, this little ship here, this took me around 4 hours to get. First coming into the game, not knowing really anything, it took me about 4 hours to finally get this ship. Maybe I could cut that time down a little bit now that I know the game a little bit better. But at the same time, the only way I was actually able to get this ship in 4 hours is because I started playing the game normally. I accepted a couple of missions. I realized how little money those missions actually got me, and that it would probably take me something like 10 hours in order to get a ship if I only did those missions. And then I ended up just going into their community Discord, and I essentially just socially engineered my way into becoming friends with a couple of people in the community, and they just gave me a bunch of money. That's how I bought that ship. And that ship is very small. That ship is very small. Also, travel times are very long. Again, this is a massive game. This is a huge game. It is technically impressive how big this game is and how many people you can simultaneously have running around with these ships that are fully destructible. But you can also see how slow I move. And also, you know, my jetpack, it's not actually any faster. This is your fastest speed. This is your fastest speed in the current version of the game, unless you have a ship, which obviously the ships are very expensive and take a long time to get, which means that walking from this marketplace to that shipyard would probably take a solid 5 minutes or so, maybe longer, possibly. Which really slows down the game, especially for people who are just starting out. And in addition to that, you can see there's a lot of ships that are kind of floating up here. There's a bunch of ships that have been abandoned. There's a bunch of ships that have been destroyed. But unfortunately, you can't commandeer any of them because the way the game works is there's a private system which makes ships attached to their player and that are private to the player. So even though you have these ships floating around, you can't access them unless you own them. At least not to my knowledge. So you can see this guy right here. I can't drive this ship. I'm actually wondering if he can even drive this ship. You can't interact with any of the parts. It is completely locked down. Even if the ship is completely abandoned or if it's been completely destroyed, you can't really do anything with it, at least not right now. You might be able to destroy ships, but again, it just is another thing kind of getting in the way of new players being able to get ships. This is not a sandbox game. I would say that this game is actually, its roots appear to be much more rooted in something like EVE Online. It's like EVE Online meets Star Citizen meets Starbase, at least in its current form, which is not necessarily a bad thing, at least for lots of players. EVE Online has a massive player base. I think there's a lot of people that are going to love this game in its current form. But people who are like, oh, I just want to get into the game and I just want to blow stuff up, you can't really do that here. And since there's no single player support, since there's no dedicated servers, you also really have no way to make that happen. You just kind of gotta come in and network with other players, maybe link up with a clan, and maybe they'll have big ships and you can kind of go out. But there is no quick and easy way to just get started doing fun stuff. When you come into this game, you kind of have to treat it like a job. at least for the first couple of hours, which again, some people love. Honestly, even I love games like that. Sometimes I don't really have as much time as I used to. You know, I'm a father now. I have other jobs that I have to. I don't really have 8 to 12 hours that I can put into games like this. Nowadays, in order to get to the level that I need to get in order to properly experience the game, which is kind of a shame. In fact, just to drive this home a little bit more, I'll kind of give you an idea of what the beginning of the game is like for new players. So when you first come into the game, you can walk anywhere on the station. You don't have a ship, and usually in order to get credits, you have to come and get a job. Now there's a variety of jobs that you can get. You can process ore. You can do there's another job over there where you can actually do assembly, which is actually pretty cool because the game, like I said, it's like Space Engineers. So you've got fully destructible ships that you can build block by block. So you can go over there and you can essentially create little blocks that you can then sell and do just like a production line. It's interesting. It shows the mechanics of the game, but it is a little bit monotonous. Here's another job that you can do. This is an asteroid mining job. We're gonna grab this pickaxe. We're gonna break this asteroid into chunks, and then we're gonna put those pieces of the asteroid into their corresponding places, and bam, hey, look at that. We just made 700 credits. If you do this really aggressively, you can make around 2,000 credits a minute, but your most baseline ship that is probably going to get you anywhere costs around 500,000 to 800,000 credits. So in order to get like an entry-level ship like the one I showed you before, even at 1,000 credits a minute, you're gonna be here for a while. And as you can see, there is a lot of people right now doing just that. They're kind of in here treating this game like a job, which is kind of weird. I might make a video talking about just that actually at some point, like talking about grind in games and how sometimes really great games kind of get bogged down by grinding. It looks like that. You can see that's basically what everybody's doing. Everybody's in here and they're doing their mining jobs. I think this guy's actually waiting because I think that those jobs might all be filled up. You know it's bad when you're in the unemployment lane inside of a video game. Actually, is this the production assembly? Yes. So here's the production job. This is like an alternative job that you can do in order to make credits and get into the game. So go over here. Let's see what we'll pick something simple. So we'll go ahead and we'll assemble this chair. Let's see, put that there. This somewhere there we go. We had it for a second. Come on. Let's just kind of move this around. Oh, I missed you. Come here. Come back. Let's stand you up. Come on. You can do it. I'm actually not sure why. There we go. So put you there. And then you go on top of it. Please. I'm actually not sure if there's like a there we go. I'm not sure if there's like a bug or something. There we go. Acquire bolt tool. Acquire bolts. There we go. Let's grab this bolt tool. There we go. And then we're gonna bolt this thing. There we go. So now that's done. And then we can pick it up and we can deliver it. There we go. So we assembled that and we delivered. As you can see, so again, I'm just kind of walking you through this to show how monotonous the beginning stages of this game can be. It's cool. The tiny little mechanics are definitely awesome. But this is the kind of stuff that you're actually going to have to do unless you're really good at getting in and begging other people for credits, which is basically what I did because that's what I'm really good at. That's what you're going to have to do in order to get access to really any starting ships. Then when you have starting ships, you can go out and you can mine asteroids, which honestly is kind of about an equal level of monotony, especially since the first ships you're going to be getting, they don't really have great tools or great equipment to mine larger asteroids. So you're going to have to kind of start off, taking your ship out and then manually mining an asteroid with your pickaxe, and then, taking those bits and putting them in your cargo, your tiny little cargo bits, because you can't carry all that much, and then going back and forth between the station. And again, in order to get access to the good asteroids, you have to fly out. Actually, we did this on the live stream, and I'm not exaggerating. I think we had to fly straight in that direction for a solid 15 to 20 minutes, I think, before we actually were able to get to like the planetary rings, which have the good stuff, and then a 20-minute, we get the chunks and put them in the thing, and then we fly back here, which was another 20 minutes. Yeah, so, and then you've got planets, and theoretically the planets are landable. I've actually seen it in videos, but after talking to the community members when I came into the game, it apparently takes 3 days. Not in-game days, but it actually takes 3 days to fly to those planets. I don't know if they're exaggerating or not, but after everything else, I feel like they may not actually be exaggerating. That could be real. So, Starbase, incredible. One of the most impressive technical alphas I have seen. As you can see, this is really cool. You're seeing players flying around in these massive ships. You're seeing these massive stations where you can walk around. You can go inside every little compartment of. I've seen ships that have a crew complement of 10 people. You got 10 people. They all get in the ship, and then they go out and they go mining. Very cool. Very interesting. I think there's a lot of potential for this game. I think there's going to be a lot of people that have a lot of fun with this game. But at the same time, the current balance of the game, the current balancing, the current experience, it's very slow-paced. It's very grindy. I think there's going to be a lot of people that love grinding that are going to love this game, at least in its current form. And since there's no single player, since there's no instant, you can see this is my fastest speed right now. So, like, unless I go get my ship, this is as fast as I can go. So it takes a while to really get anywhere. But since there's no single player, since there's no instant action, since there's none of that, actually being able to just jump into the game and just have a nice, fun, shoot 'em up, explodey bit experience is kind of impossible right now. For a variety of reasons and for a variety of game design choices that aren't necessarily wrong. It's not that this is a bad game. It's not that these are bad choices. It just really changes the game. It changes what type of game this game is. And I guess in a way, it also it limits the kind of audience that I think is going to enjoy this game in its current form. I think if they had instant action and single player in addition to this MMO universe mode, it would actually appeal to both sides of that crowd. But since there's only the universe mode, there's only like this MMO universe mode, this is the only experience you're going to have right now in the alpha, which is not a bad experience. It's very cool. But I guess it's kind of like the No Man's Sky. It's kind of like the No Man's Sky conundrum, where it's like, just because it's really awesome and big and technically impressive doesn't necessarily mean it's fun. And that's not to say it doesn't have the potential to be fun. I mean, let's look at No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky, I think, has had probably one of the biggest comebacks of all time. I think I also made videos in the past talking about how much potential No Man's Sky has, how amazing the technology is and how much they can do with that technology. And I think they've really filled that out. I actually think they've done what they set out to do. Even with all the negativity and all, like they really took that engine and they made something out of it. They had an amazing tech demo when the game first came out, and now that tech demo is turned into a really fun, amazing, fleshed out game. I think this is going to be the same kind of a situation. The tech here is awesome. The foundation that has been laid is great. This is a great foundation. There is a few issues. There are still some bugs in the game, but the bugs that are in the game are not unfixable. There are not very many game-breaking bugs. I think there's a couple of issues where your ship might explode or something. But the times that I've seen that happen have been few and far between, which for an alpha is a great sign, because I have put a lot of hours into games like Space Engineers, and that was our biggest problem with Space Engineers, is because there was so many technical issues and there were so many game-breaking things where 3 days of work could be completely destroyed if one technical thing goes wrong and then your ship rips in half. This game does not have those kinds of issues nearly as much. As you can see, there's players that are flying around in these big ships. They're sitting here, they're trading. This is working. It's working. Like, it's really impressive that it's working. So that's exciting. Like, look at that. There's a Profix. I think I know that guy. I think I've seen him. There's a lot of players. Now, granted, you can see a lot of the players are kind of in these not so great chips. And those not so great chips are still really expensive. Here's actually a big ship. Let's go over here. I don't actually here. Let me get my ship. Let's go take a look at this. I think there's a lot of... Oh, somebody's shooting. Which is actually, so that's another thing. This entire station is shrouded in a safe zone. Which makes it impossible to kill other players or to damage your ship. Again, a design decision that isn't necessarily wrong or bad, but definitely limits the scope of the game. It limits like kind of what you can do. There we go. There's somebody else. Let's go see if we can't find somebody with a ship that's bigger than us. Wait, what happened? Oh, my ship despawned. And also, as you can see, if you get too close to the station, your ship will despawn. It'll automatically go into your docking terminal, where you can then, respawn it. Honestly, a lot of decisions that I think prevent griefing, and that improve the stability of the game, even if they do currently in their current form feel a little bit limiting. These are the kinds of things that I wish Space Engineers had earlier. Alright, so let's take a look at this. Mr. Extinct. So this guy's got a pretty decent ship. And this is kind of one of the smaller ships in the game, I think. But it's still like a large... It's like a Corvette. Let's see if he'll... I mean, he's not going to let us in. But you can kind of get an idea. Oh, we can actually walk in. I think there's some texture pop-in issues right now, which again is just kind of like another one of those alpha things. Here's an entire ship that this guy has. There's the generator, the rear compartments. Here's the bridge. So again, very cool. I think there is going to be a lot of people that have a lot of fun with this game, even in its current form. There's going to be a lot of really cool adventures that are going to be had. But the people that I think have the best adventures are going to be the kinds of people that have the most time on their hands to actually grind and get the resources that you need and invest the time that you need to invest in order to have that kind of experience in this game. And I mean, this is cool. Look at this. You've got all these little ships, all of these different people flying around. Like, it's working. It is working. Which is awesome. So now I think if they could continue improving the experience and also continue trying to cater to both sides, not just making this a grinders game, but also make this a game, like for action junkies as well. I feel like it wouldn't be too difficult to have, a section of the station that says like combat training, and then you can go to the combat training section of the station and, engage in like separate instant action instances or something like that. I think that would help a lot. I would love to do that. I would love to go there and just kind of do quote-unquote simulator gameplay and stuff that's not a part of the real world, but you can just kind of like get your quick fix and just see how the game works and blow some stuff up. That would be fantastic without having to like commit 50 billion hours into grinding. But yeah, that's it. That's Starbase. That's, you know, my review of Starbase, my impressions. I think it's fantastic. I think there's something really special here. But unfortunately, well, either fortunately or unfortunately, it's kind of buried under a lot of game design choices that really kind of put you behind a time wall. You know, I need to coin that. I need to make a video about that. It's not a paywall. It's a time wall. It's like it's not looking for you. You got to invest time in order to have a good experience, not money. Which again, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Unfortunately, I'm just kind of at a part in my life where I can't really invest that kind of time anymore in games like this. I totally would, though, if I was younger. God, I would be all over this game. I would be slaving away 100%. But yeah. Oh, I don't know what that is. Last network store resources. What happens if I turn off my generator? Oh, there we go. I don't even know what these buttons are. Is this a YOLOL? I don't really know what YOLOL. I just know that I need to press that button to start the ship up. Okay, but that's it. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Remember, Blue Drake loves you. Starbase is really cool. I'm definitely keeping an eye on this. Maybe we'll create a community in this game. There's a lot of things we can do. But yeah, besides that, I'll see you in the next one. All right, take care, guys. Cheers!